Hey family, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Cutnice50. Hey, as our nutritionist, check in with Coach Travis, the Future of Bodybuilding podcast, man. It's been a blessing this last year. We done grew a lot. Thanks to you, man. Thanks for all the support we've been getting throughout the years. And like I said, it's our gift, our journey, our pleasure to help others get healthy, stay motivated, stay inspired, starting investing in themselves. And that's always been the goal. So 2023, it ain't no stopping us, man. We're gonna keep on just spreading the word on health, fitness, nutrition, and investing in yourself. Also, we're gonna try to do some things a little different, a little better. Anything you do, man, in life, you get better. The more you do it, the more you keep going. It's about growth, evolution, and maturity. So with that being said, man, we don't know how our plans can go as far as competing and stuff like that during this 2023 season. But we're going to be focused on, a lot of other things. I don't know if y'all watch my real stuff like that, man, but when generally, I think now they added stuff like topics you can put in there. Generally, home workouts, bodybuilding workouts, strength training. And I always try to include self-care, because that's what I do. For me, working out is a part of my self-care. I got to do that for my mental health, and I tell my wife like this all the time: you can't help anybody if you don't help yourself first.
And people talk about like, oh, I don't have time. Like, okay, let's put these things together here, because you say you don't have time to put into your health. I would argue that taking care of yourself is the only thing that gives you more time.
You got to do what you want to do for yourself, and then you can do more for other people. But you still got to take care of you first, and then that love and that strength and anything else you can get going on to take care of them. Because if you stressed out, you got negative energy build up. You can't. That negative energy just harbor, it just lingers in you, and it start damaging you from the inside out. So I tell people, man, just start investing in yourself, man. Myself, like I said, beginning of 2023, I'm a fast today. I'm gonna probably try to drop down, try to get all my sugar, sweets, my cheat meals in already, because I know I'm a fast today. Going back to my roots, reading the Bible. I used to do that every year from beginning to end, get back to my prayer stuff. And I still pray a lot anyway, but once I was like, I don't, just in life, man, this religion, you see a lot of stuff on TV and stuff like that they got going on in the world.
So tell us more about this bill. I mean, it sounds like a stretch even for California, a bill attacking free speech and freedom of religion.
There's 8 homosexual legislators, Democrats, all of them, who are sponsoring this bill. And AB 2943 would start by saying, okay, nobody can get counseling to overcome same-sex desires, okay? So no help.
Where students have decided to throw the Bible out of their dorms. So one of Britain's largest hotel chains actually decided to remove all of its Bibles from its hotel rooms in order not to discriminate any religion at all. Well, the words Jesus and Christ have been banned as offensive by Marks and Spencer's on its online gift messaging.
And we are, by essentially metaphysical constitution, a Christian nation. Now, if we don't want to be a Christian nation anymore, then that is going to be a very serious change in our country, and it's going to mark a significant transition in the history.
Same law also prompted a court in Nantes to ban Christmas nativity scenes from public places last year. Well, EU authorities also point at growing hostility and violence toward Christians in recent years that largely passes unnoticed by governments.
It will be done in California and across.
It's getting a little confusing, I think, for a lot of people out there. And I'm always going to be a man of faith. I'm lucky to still be alive, and I had some close brushes with death. So I have no reason not to believe in the Father. You might have different aspects, different beliefs, different religions, and that's all fine and dandy. But we always put on this earth for some reason. I don't work with people who don't believe in nothing, who are what they call them. I think this guy who got valuetainment, I just found out now he's an atheist.
I haven't spoken to my mom for 5 years. I have a new phone. She doesn't know my phone number. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, okay? And I'm sitting there and I say, you know what, God? I'm crying like a baby. I said, God, I don't believe you exist. I don't believe you exist. But if you do, I want to hear my mom's voice right now. It's like just a child wanted to hear his mom's voice. When I tell you 30 seconds later my phone rang with a blocked number, I was so scared to answer the phone. So scared to answer the phone, okay? So I had one of those Nextel walkie-talkie phones, you know, the ones that you would go like this back in the days. And I answered the phone, and it's her crying. So why are you crying? And I'm crying. But she cried first. I'm like, why are you crying? She says, because God told me you were in pain. I had to call you. I'm like, what? What do you mean? Come on. And I'm just like, I can't even talk. So what's going on? I can't even tell her what I'm experiencing in that moment. Because it wasn't about her at that time. Also, I'm like, what the hell is going on here? This could be real. Like, is there really a higher power? Is somebody really listening to me? And if it is, what is the potential of what I can do with this person that listens to me that's a higher power?
There's no God. God ain't real, okay? If there was a God, there'd be a lightning strike in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay, this is very concerning.
He don't believe in. I done met some Scientologists.
Still in the story of the rest of the beginning of the universe. God, spiritual matter, impact on material matter.
Okay. Your question, where did God come from, assumes that you're thinking of the wrong, obviously it displays that you're thinking of the wrong God, because the God of the Bible is not affected by time, space, or matter. If he's affected by time, space, or matter, he's not God. Time, space, and matter is what we call a continuum. All of them have to come into existence at the same instant. Because if there were matter but no space, where would you put it? If there were matter and space but no time, when would you put it? You cannot have time, space, or matter independently. They have to come into existence simultaneously. The Bible answers that in 10 words. In the beginning, there's time. God created the heaven, there's space, and the earth. There's matter. So you have time, space, matter created a trinity of trinities there. Just, you know, time is past, present, future. Space has length, width, height. Matter has solid, liquid, gas. You have a trinity of trinities created instantaneously. And the God who created them has to be outside of them. If he's limited by time, he's not God. The guy who created this computer is not in the computer. He's not running around in there changing the numbers on the screen, okay? The God who created this universe is outside of the universe. He's above it, beyond it, in it, through it. He's unaffected by it. So the concept that a spiritual force cannot have any effect on a material body, well then I guess you'd have to explain to me things like emotions and love and hatred and envy and jealousy and rationality. I mean, if your brain is just a random collection of chemicals that formed by chance over billions of years, how on earth can you trust your own reasoning processes and the thoughts that you think?
I don't work with people who was they didn't like black people. They didn't like the brotherhood, those type of guys. And like I said, I don't discriminate or judge anybody. Whatever your belief is, you're entitled to a belief. Whatever you want to do, you're entitled to that. But it's still one truth, regardless. So I never force my beliefs on anybody because it's your life. I think you all have the right to do it. But I'm going to do what I got to do for me and my family. Hopefully you do the same for yours. And if you believe what you're doing in your heart is right, what else? That's all you need. So I don't believe in forcing nobody to do nothing that they don't want to do. That's what health, eating. But I think it comes a time and a point in anybody's life, man. If you don't feel good, you don't feel like yourself, you don't feel like you motivated or inspired to just keep going, keep pushing, to stay in the job, you always looking and searching, then I think that's the time that you need to switch it up. You know, like I said, I'm very I'm self-aware of myself. I know my gifts, my talents, and I speak it. You know, I am not ashamed of saying, hey, I'm an expert in this or expert in that, because I know my gifts and I recognize them. I'm being accepted. I'm not perfect by any means and always capable, like I tell people all the time before. What I do as a nutritionist trainer, health advocate, it's a constant learning career. I put it like that, because you can always learn something new. You're always going to keep learning more and more. And especially being a certified nutritionist, man, it's hard to navigate at times. The process is easy because it's all pretty much the same thing. Understand people's bodies, how their body chemistry react to a certain environment. What I mean by that is if you're eating a certain amount of calories and stuff like that, I can pretty much make my own calculation to see what's best for you to optimize your body. But like I tell people who's trying to get healthy, who's trying to get back on track, how can you do it if the system is designed to keep you down? You know, getting videos, and I go off the earth always. I tell people, man, I've been getting signs all my life. So I try to accept it, listen to it, and see what I can learn from it. Like the other day, I'm getting more and more videos about health, nutrition, these big food companies, mislabeling products.
But I have actually seen illness caused by your guidelines. As people have already mentioned, the vast majority of people of color in this country are intolerant of the lactose that's in milk. Yet, because they think they have to eat this stuff, they go out, eat it, get sick, and think that they have some sort of intestinal problem. But in fact, when I encourage them to stop eating dairy, their problems cleared up. And so it's really outrageous to encourage people to eat foods we know will make them sick, particularly when the number one reason advanced for dairy foods is its calcium content. But African American women are genetically protected against getting osteoporosis, so we're making them sick for no good reason. People have trashed carbs left, right, and center here and never mentioned glycemic index. Whole food carbs that have their fiber are excellent. The ones that have their fiber removed, those are the problems. It's not carbs, it's the processed carbs.
So and I tell people all the time, how can you get healthy if, say, you're trying to use this cooking spray? It says 0 calories, all this and that, but it's really a pesticide or poison, which causes cancer and other issues and stuff like that.
It's the food that they think is the same is not the same anymore. You know, everybody's for free choice. Whether we're liberal or whether we're conservative, we've all got that streak in us. But the fact is, you cannot have free choice unless you have an informed choice. And you can't have an informed choice if they're lying about what's on the label. What about PAM cooking spray? Everybody knows what PAM is. It's some kind of little healthy oil with compressed air that you spray it and it gets on your pan. It's not compressed air. That, you know, and they don't tell you, but it's butane and propane. People don't understand that they are spraying lighter fluid on their children's hot cakes, and it's fabulously successful. But we're gonna sue their pants off.
In your body. So that's even more damaging. So that's why I tell people I drink 2 gallons of water every day to help flush my system, help keep my body optimized, because you never know what you're putting in your body. I don't care how healthy you think you are. The products that we buy for the grocery stores and all.
I want to show y'all something real quick. Now, when you're buying your fruit, you're going to see a 5-digit code. If it starts with a 9, that means it's certified organic. If it starts with a 4, that means it was grown with pesticides and chemicals. And if it starts with an 8, that means it's genetically modified.
These fast food restaurants, it's not meant to keep us healthy.
I'm going to show y'all something, man. This shit crazy, right? You know how y'all be going to McDonald's and Wendy's and shit, eating chicken nuggets and chicken sandwiches? Well, I'm going to show you how they make this shit. Alright. Mechanically separated chicken. Now watch this. This is chicken nuggets and chicken sandwiches and shit, man. That's what they make that shit with. Y'all please share this shit, man. This shit is unhealthy as fuck, man.
So we try to do our best, you know, apple cider vinegar, taking all your vitamins, minerals, the electrolytes, trying to eat portion control meals. The way we eat now just wasn't designed for our bodies to keep it healthy, strong, and for longevity. So the health advocates like myself, man, we try to figure out a better way or a better system that works for us so we can be here longer, stay healthy and all that. But it's always going to circulate back to the same formula. You have to work out, you got to drink water, and you got to sleep, man. So you can't get around that. I don't care what you do, you still can do some kind of physical activity. That's what they used to teach in the school. I know now.
Now, children are exposed to education if their parents are wise and healthy, i.e. if their parents are wise men and wise women, children get educated. If they're not, they get indoctrinated. There's a big difference. Our education system teaches people what to think, not how to think. If you study the history of our education system, Ken Wilber goes into this quite deeply if you want a resource. Our education system is still the exact system that was developed by warlords and plantation owners to control slaves. It was developed specifically to keep the kids busy so they could get more works out of the slaves, more hours out of them, and to train the children not to be creative, not to think for themselves, and to follow orders. That is exactly what your education system is today. And
the world's changed. They don't really teach that. They don't teach religion. They don't teach a lot of other things that I think that keeps you grounded, disciplined, and it just keeps you structured. It's like an unstructured environment now. I'm seeing all kind of stuff that's detrimental to the kids, and I feel for the next generation, the generation after that coming up, if we still here, because how this world's looking, man, it's a question mark of how the world's going to look in another 20, 30 years. It's going to be a scary sight. And I feel for my son Titan, who's only 2 months now, already teething. We're doing our best. We breastfeeding him and stuff like that. So he's getting just straight nutrients, and his body is utilizing. He's growing like a weed, strong, healthy, happy. But when we put life into that whole situation, it's a different ball game. Like I said, I've meant to do a story on his birth and stuff like that, and the things that we dealt with. But sometimes it got away from us, and I still want to get my wife on there, pretty much have like an interview of her and see all the challenges that she went through. Because it's been a rough year for a lot of people. It affected her a little bit more than myself. Like I said, everybody handled things differently. I was raised a whole different way, and I'm able to compartmentalize a lot of issues, and I'm pretty much, sad to say, used to a lot of pain and stuff like that. So nothing in this world shocks me. I've been accused of or been discriminated against, or been called words out your name, and none of that stuff like that bothers me per se, because that's just people I just feel who's what I remember watching Remember the Titans, which is one of my all-time favorites. People who are still have discrimination against a certain type person or whatever for their race, color, or gender, or whatever the case may be. It's because you fear the unknown. I just think just as a human being, it's our nature to be caring, loving, and to connect. I don't care what you do. You can try to change that dynamic, but you just don't feel right. You feel empty and stuff like that. But I've been getting, like I said, man, more videos. We got a lot of more content coming. Been getting more videos on religion and stuff like that, health, nutrition. I didn't even know most of the food companies out there are owned by the tobacco industry. And most
In 1985, tobacco giant R.J. Reynolds bought Nabisco Foods. Tobacco pioneer Philip Morris bought General Foods, and 3 years later, Kraft Foods, making them the largest food producer in North America, and leaving the business of food in the capable hands of the same corporations who helped addict us to tobacco. Using the same tactics they used to promote tobacco, food companies set about peddling the entire planet a diet of processed goods, loaded with chemicals and additives, masquerading as food. This new machine operates with specific targets in mind, like addicting consumers.
To these big businesses and stuff like that. So all of that stuff for me is connected. And if you know anything about tobacco and stuff like that, it is addicting. So why is it far-fetched to say that some of the foods that we get, we are creatures of habit, are addicting to you? Just think about it. In your life, do you eat some of the same foods over and over again? I myself probably do. I eat some, especially when it comes to junk food, sugars, and processed foods, stuff like that. What's your favorite cereal? Just start looking at the container, what's on the back of those boxes and stuff like that. The sugar content that's in. We like it because of that sugar, which is the most addicting drug, I think, on the face of the earth. And I don't care how healthy it is, we all are victim of sugar. We got to have it, we love it. But when you go through a detox and a fast and stuff like that, and it gets that withdrawal go out your body, you feel so much better. Your body start healing, it start looking better, your skin starts getting smoother, better, your energy level starts going up. Now incorporate more water and more sleep in that. Now the clarity, you're starting to think better, you're starting to be in a better mood. And so from the inside to the outside, you start resonating on a higher frequency. So I tell people, man, the power, I heard an old phrase before, and this, you all know it, that knowledge is power. Just think about it. Nate, the world now is trying to make you think that money is power, fame is power, and stuff like that. But when we leave this place, you can't take none of that. You can't take cars, you can't take jewelry, you can't take a house and all this and that. And the only reason you buy the houses is not, or buy the fancy cars and stuff like that, that you really can't afford. It's because of how it makes you feel, or the standard that you have, you think you have, from other people looking at you. I don't believe in none of that stuff like that, man. I stopped wearing jewelry from my football days. I remember somebody broke into the locker room. You don't know how they can get in there without somebody helping them. And I stole what I had, like a diamond encrusted dragon from like Enter the Dragon. I spent so much money on that, but this was way back in my professional football days, man. They stole that, and I was like, you know what? Is it really worth whatever you got to do? Because I ain't come from a place of money and stuff like that. You spend money on all this jewelry and stuff like that that ain't helping nobody. You can't take it with you just for flash, to be flashy and stuff. It just don't make sense now. We only learn this stuff like this, man, when you're getting older. So you want to share that knowledge and information that you got, or you don't went through your past experiences, to the next generation. So 2023, man, I think I'm going to start doing a whole lot more, reaching out to more clients, people like that. That's why I started the subscriptions on Instagram, man. People who got questions, they can always reach out to me, subscribe to that. It's like $5 a month. That's 30 days. You have a nutrition in your pocket to help you. You want any questions, a video conference real quick, stuff like that. They can always hit me up on any of the social media outlets, or they can watch the videos on health, nutrition, and fitness on this YouTube channel, Future Bodybuilding Podcast, or just comment. I'm going to answer your question on any video and stuff like that if you have it. So that's my way to give back and connect to more people, because you never can connect to more people as you want to in the daily life. You might miss the videos, you might miss the Instagram, stuff like that. But that's the good thing about, I think, social media, stuff like that, and having a condensed. So the subscriptions allow you to have a little smaller space. It's like an intimate setting. You can always talk to somebody. You can always send a message. Me, I'm always on the computer, or I get my messages pretty much 24/7. So I'm always checking my emails and stuff like that. Limiting my hours in my part-time job, making sure I'm just doing 3 days a week. Hopefully I can drop like the 2 part-time, so I can, take care of my son, take care of the wife, spend more time with family, make more content, doing what I love to do, which is health, fitness, and nutrition, and spreading that word to help others live a healthier and balanced lifestyle. It's all about balance, man. I think for years I was out of balance and stuff like that. I just watched a video. Dion just mentioned, I think back in his prime, that he was battling depression or whatever he titled it, but he had a lot of negative energy, sleeping with women and stuff like that. He's on the highest his game, but he wasn't happy. He had the fame, fortune. He was talking about the shoes. If I can find it, I'll put the link in the description below, man. But the basis of his story was, it don't care how rich, famous you are, you won't be satisfied if you don't have the family of people to share it with. Because he was like, he had 300 pair of shoes and can't step in the right direction. He high stepping on the field, but he's still not satisfied. sleeping with 2-3 women at a time, and nobody is satisfied during that whole encounter. So it's just sad to see, man, how the trend that this world is going to, man. I was watching something on Disney the other day, and the messages that they send the kids, I'm not even gonna mention it on here because you see it. I think a lot of people are seeing it. I think it's called a woke culture or whatever they title stuff, and the cancel culture and stuff like that. I don't believe in none of the canceling and stuff like that. I believe that you have the right to do whatever you want to do and what makes you happy. But I don't believe in forcing anything on our kids who are uneducated or they can't comprehend the differences. And if you put anything in their face, they're susceptible to do the same thing that you're doing or whatever they see, they think is right. I mean, they can't determine what's right or wrong if we constantly put it in their face. So that's the messages that I'm getting. I'm seeing a whole lot more out there. And it just doesn't feel right. So I'm gonna start doing some videos even on that. You know, I have to put my disclaimer out there because I don't want to disrespect nobody. Like I said, myself personally, I ain't gonna judge nobody for whatever they do, whatever they feel is right. And whatever you want to do for your family is okay with you. And